Welcome to the show again. It's been a week, so it's time to upload another video. So what we're going to be doing today is the character build of the samurai, which I did a mod review last week of the mods you will need for this character, because this is a modded character build. If you want to see that video, I should have links in the description to both parts, because it is a two-part mod review, and I may have the little video thing where you can click on it in the upper right corner for part 1, and then you can get to part 2 from that video. So anyway, with that out of the way, I'll get into the character's backstory, and then I'll talk about the perks that you're going to want to get. So, as far as his backstory, there's two basically backstories that you can use. One is that he's attacked and left for dead, and he basically finds a dead guy whenever he basically wakes up, because, oh, I forgot to mention, the attacked and left for dead thing is, you're going to want to get a alternate start live another life mod by Arthmore to do that. This is optional, or you can do the main, just the normal beginning, where he wakes up in a cart headed for Helgen to be executed. Sorry about that. Anyway, I have my character exposed like that because I don't have any other really clothes to wear. So, anyway, because I put them out here on display for you guys to look at. So, basically, these are like the kinds of weapons you'll be wanting, but I'll be showing that later. So anyway, back to the backstory. Another option is that you could go with, if you have the Inigo follower mod, then Inigo shot him in the back in the middle of the road, then the Imperials took him to Helgen. If you want to do that. That's also optional. So, anyway, now I'll be getting into basically, anyway, if you're going with the main story, or the Inigo shot you in the back part, basically, whenever he leaves Helgen, he goes through the main quest, all that, but then he goes, whenever he gets to the part whenever he meets Delphine, and then they go to Skyhaven Temple, he finds these books about the ancient Akaviri and their code of honor, and he decides to make the armor using information from the book, and he creates his own set of Akaviri armor, and he lives by the Akaviri code of honor. So that's how he basically plays. He plays through basically like a samurai, because it's kind of what the Akaviri are as far as their armor are. He even forges weapons. He forges 2 swords. One is two-handed and is his main sword, because this is mostly a two-handed character. The other sword is a shorter sword that's one-handed, which is kind of like a backup sword. And yes, samurai would carry two swords. One would be longer, one would be shorter. The shorter sword is mostly used for if he's going to have a spell in one hand, like this. Or if he's carrying a torch in one hand. So, there you go. Now, as far as the armor is kind of up to you. It can be classic Blades armor, or it can be the Blades Samurai Armors and Kimonos by Prime. Go check the mod review for that. This is what this armor is from. The weapons he will use are the Fudo Miawo by China YYK and Moral Cat, which can be found on the Nexus. Both of these mods can be found on the Nexus. He also uses a Dragon Bone bow. And the Akaviri Ebony arrow as his arrows, or any other arrows that you have. But they need to be the Akaviri version, which is explained in the mod review. So, anyway, with his and armor out of the way, I'll just take that. So this is what I use for mine. I use the Dawnguard Mempo, the Nunobe armor, boots and gauntlets, and the Nui Nobe Kabuto. I probably screwed up the pronunciation on that, but you know, it is what it is. I am not the best at pronouncing that kind of stuff. And this is what it should look like on your character. Wait, what? How come I can't take the weapon? Are you kidding me? I can't take the weapon. Well, I guess it's time to load to a previous save. Anyway, I already got the thumbnail thing out of the way anyway, so but yeah, this is the place I'm at is called Sigil Bod. It's a modded player home thing. So this is what your character could look like. And to show you how I customize my character, you can customize your character however you want. It's up to you. But the character must be a Breton. Okay? So your character will be a Breton. Because of magical resistances, because that's this character's main weakness. He will have problems with fighting characters with magical stuff, and Bretons can help with that, with the magic resistance. So I'll take off the helmet and Mempo to show you the face that I use. I mean, this is kind of an example if you want to. It's on the, he has more on the heavier weight side, so he's more muscly. I have a scar and a blind eye to go with it, with a brown normal eye. And then I use the beard that has, I can't remember the name of this beard, but it looks like that. And then hair that looks like this, basically. So, this is the main sword you'll be using, right here. I covered it in the mod review. Now we'll be getting into perks. So, the first perk you're going to want to get is Barbarian. You're going to get the first rank of Barbarian. Then the next perk you're going to get is in heavy armor. It is the Juggernaut perk. Then from block, you're going to want to get Shield Wall, the first rank. Basically, as far as this perk tree goes, you're gonna ignore basically all of these perks. You're gonna ignore this perk, this perk, this perk, and this perk, because this character does not use shields. However, you're gonna want to get Shield Wall all the way up to 5. You're gonna want to get Quick Reflexes, Power Bash, Deadly Bash, and Disarming Bash. I mean, well, you don't necessarily have to get those, but you can if you want to. So then you're going to want to get Overdraw, the first rank of Overdraw. Then we're going to go all the way over to Restoration and get Novice Restoration. Then you're going to want to get Champion Stance in two-handed, because this will allow your power attacks with two-handed weapons to cost less stamina. So basically you can do more power attacks, which is quite useful. Then you're going to want to get Juggernaut 2. It doesn't require very many levels to get it. You need heavy armor 20. You should have that pretty early on in the game. Then you're running at Steelsmithing, or as soon as you get to Skyhaven Temple, you're going to want to get Steelsmithing. Then you're going to need Devastating Blow from two-handed. All the way up here. As soon as your two-handed reaches 50, get Devastating Blow. Standing power attacks do 25% bonus damage with a chance to decapitate your enemies, because decapitations are cool. Anyway, when your archery reaches level 30, you're going to want to get Eagle Eye right here, because pressing block while aiming will zoom in your view. So basically whenever you have an arrow knocked and drawn, you press the block button and you'll zoom in, so it'll be easier to hit enemies at more of a distance. And then after that, you want to get Overdraw 2. Then after this, you're going to want to get the first rank of Deep Wounds, which will mean that attacks with great swords have a 15% chance of doing more critical damage. So any swords that are two-handed will have this effect on them. Ignore Skull Crusher and Limb Splitter, because you won't be using great axes or warhammers. Then after you get Deep Wounds, you're going to want to go over to Restoration and get Restoration Dual Casting. Now the reason why you're investing perk points into Restoration is because potions can be quite expensive and hard to find sometimes. As far as healing potions in this character, since his armor rating is going to be lower, because once you make that samurai armor, that's the only armor you get for the rest of the game. Because of the character, because you're kind of role-playing as this character, so you're going to need to invest into Restoration, trust me, and you're not going to regret it, I promise. When your block reaches 20, get Shield Wall 2. When your heavy armor is 30, you're going to want to get Well Fitted. And this will allow your armor, since you're going to be wearing all heavy armor, you'll get a 25% armor bonus. So it'll make it a little bit better. Just a little side note, don't get matching set, because you're probably not going to be able to really use it, because I'm not sure if the modded armor will really work with it. Especially if you have the Dawnguard Mempo and stuff, it might, I don't know, it just might not really work, so I'm not sure if it's worth it. You can get it if you want to, but I wouldn't. After this, it's really kind of becomes up to you. But your goal is to eventually get Barbarian maxed out. You're going to want this completely maxed out. Then you're going to want to get you're going to want to get deep wounds maxed out right here. And then you're going to want to get great critical charge, which means you can do a two-handed power attack while sprinting. So basically it'll make you charge forward. Then you're going to want to get sweep, which will have sideways power attacks with two-handed weapons hit all the targets in front of you, which is extremely useful. And then get War Master. Backwards power attack has a 25% chance to paralyze the target. And I just wanted to say you don't have to get these perks in any particular order because they have large skill gaps between them. So you don't have to get them in order. You want to get your overdraw 5 maxed out, 5 out of 5, and then get critical shot 3 out of 3. And then the rest of the bow perks is really up to you because this character is not exactly bow heavy. It's not really emphasized on the bow so much. You don't have to really invest anything into one-handed because the one-handed sword's a backup sword. Some other things, don't get anything in light armor because this is not a light armored character. Sneak, I know I have a perk here, that was a mistake. Don't invest anything into sneak and don't even use sneak because this character fights with honor. He does not sneak up on people. Lockpicking is really up to you. If you really care about it that much, go ahead, invest perks into lockpick. Do not invest anything to pickpocket because this character doesn't steal. He believes it's dishonorable. Speech is kind of up to you. You don't have to invest stuff into it if you don't want to. Alchemy is your choice. Illusion, I mean, I guess, but not really. Illusion's not really something you're going to want to do. Conjuration, definitely not. Not destruction either. This character will not be destruction oriented. Basically, the only magic this character will be using is restoration and alteration for casting stuff like candlelight. Enchanting, if you really want to, you can get into it, but it's not really necessary. This character is not very magically gifted as much. Smithing, you can either try to find a dragonbone bow, or you can get all the way to dragon smithing. But that's up to you. Also, if you don't want to use the dragonbone bow, there's also bows that come with the Blade Samurai armor and kimonos by Prime. It also has bows that you can craft if you want to, and you can use one of those. So that's basically it for this character. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.